Okay, so this week we're going to work on the dotted quarter note. So in your book, this is page 80 and 81. It introduces the dotted quarter note, and then we're going to learn the song on page 82. Now, if you look at page 80, it has a great explanation for what an extension dot does to a note. It increases it by a half. So an extension dot increases a half note by 1 beat to 3 beats. An extension dot is going to increase a quarter note by a half of a beat to 1.5 count. So you see that there in the middle of the page. Now, down there on the bottom of the page on 80, it gives you 2 examples and shows you how a dotted quarter note is the same as a quarter note tied to an eighth note. So here's how we would tap and count those. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so that's a quarter note tied to an eighth note. It's exactly the same dotted quarter note. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so I would practice that tapping and counting. Get used to those dotted quarter notes. They get 1.5 beats, which is equal to 3 syllables. Okay, each syllable is a half of a beat. 1 and 2. That's 1.5 beats. Now, look at the songs on page 81. These are melodies you know. The first one is Silent Night. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, this is what that sounds like if we play it. 1 and 2 and 3, 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and the next one is Deck the Hall. Again, it's a melody you'll probably recognize. Here's how that's going to sound. This is in 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and notice sometimes I'll put an and on every beat, other times not. It doesn't matter, but when you have eighth notes you need to put an and on the beat. So here's what that'll sound like. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And I just took the last measure with my right hand. Now, the last example there is Auld Lang Syne. Okay, here's how that's going to sound. Starts on the upbeat there, beat 3. So, actually, sorry, there are 2 more examples. 4, 1 and 2 and 3. 4, 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, so that is another melody you might recognize. I'm actually going to play it up an octave higher just so you can see what it looks like. My stand is in the way down here, so I'm going to play it an octave higher. The main thing here is to understand the dotted quarter note. 4, 1 and 2 and 3. 4, 1 and 2 and 3. That's how that one goes. And then the last example, again, Here Comes the Bride. You'll recognize this. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. And then this is what that'll sound like. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the dotted quarter note. And then I'm going to make another video and we'll do the song on page 82. So practice the dotted quarter note.